Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, my smartphone is freaking out. I don't know what happened, but the live stream was interrupted. So I just start over from where the video was interrupted before. So the Amiga, I'm just saying the Amiga 2187 is the same set of Commodore Deluxe, and the frame is messed another time. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can we do it? Not sure. Not sure. Can we do it? Can we do it? Okay, so it's the same set, full set. You can use the Amiberry emulator or the PUI emulator. That needs to be renamed. Interesting. Let's rename it like that. Okay. I hope you can hear my voice, and I hope the live stream does break again. So basically, if you want to start Paracruz, a game with the Amiberry, just strike A button and it loads. If you want to use the PUI, just start the game with A. Press A again when you see the Amiga logo. You enter on the Run Command menu and just select the PUI. You have four selection: Amiberry 1200, Amiberry 500, the Amiberry, and LRPUI. But your choice should be Amiberry or LRPUI. In that case, is a Libretto emulator. By default on the image, I will set Amiberry. Anyway, if you use the Libretto emulator, of course, you have the overlay. And you can use the RetroArch. And so you can access the RetroArch menu with the usual combination select plus X. Okay. Have to say most of Amiga 400 game works, but the Libretto emulator have some problem with the AGA games, so it's a sort of mixed bag, I have to say. Legendary music. One nice feature of the RetroArch emulator is the virtual keyboard that you can recall with the L button, the shoulder button. You can recall the virtual keyboard. Otherwise, with Amiberry, you have to use a USB keyboard, or you can set some keyboard button on the gamepad, but it's a little complicated. Okay, I'm almost sure this needed the keyboard to be played properly, but remember there's also, let's move on, we will see later. The Amiga 1200 is the Amiga AGA, the powerful models of Amiga. In that case, the emulator is managed by Amiberry. Just 154 games is the same set of deluxe, And Amiga CD32, this is the same set of deluxe as the ISO real CD set. So those are expensive games with an enhanced soundtrack. It's the same games that was released on CD for this obscure system. And speaking of which, the pinball series, there's also the Amiga version of Pinball Fantasies. There's not Pinball Dreams, so only Pinball Illusions and Fantasies. But that one can be played entirely with a gamepad because the CD32 was a console type system, so not a personal computer, but a console without keyboard and with a gamepad. And you should know my preferred game is Trolls. Fantastic. Trolls is really on a standard Amiga too, but the Amiga CD32 version is better graphically and has a totally new, a whole new soundtrack, which is great. Truly great soundtrack. I love the soundtrack of Trolls. Okay, if I manage to, I want to show one game for each of the 50 systems. Will not be easy, but let's try. Oh my, I love this soundtrack. Listen. I want to enter there. No. 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 It was so cruel. Ouch. A pencil, a giant pencil. Ah! It's not super easy to figure out what's happened because it's so rich of sprites. It's so colorful. This was an epic death. This was an epic death. Just that my purpose is to show one games for each system, but I don't know if I will manage to do that. But let's try anyway. As I said before, this is the theme made by Augustus and is the ultimate epic theme. So Amstrad with the turtles There's a new artwork for arcade games. The Amstrad is a giant set, is almost 2,000 of games, just a very huge set, I have to say. I made this set through the months and the previous. This image is great. This image is thanks to Aromila. Is so detailed and the some metric style. Aliens. There's two aliens. Interesting. The aliens 2K UK. I'm not sure it's the same game because there was two versions of aliens, if I remember well. Anyway. All systems have the bezel, the very minimal bezel CRT type style. So this is Amstrad. Amstrad also have the visual keyboard, but it's a little tricky to enable the keyboard. I want to show you how to enter the RetroArch like usual. Go to options, you have to set combo key, and combo key you have to set a ladder. Hi Jim, can you hear me? I hope you can hear my voice because I have my external microphone. I'm not sure if you can. I hope you can. You can listen my voice. Can you hear me, Jim? Just to confirm. Oh, ciao, Sinclair. Sinclair told he can hear me. Okay, so move on. Combo key. The combo key, you have to select a button to open the visual keyboard. I'll show you. If you set the Y button, just go back. It's a little tricky. Oh, I explain you. You have to open the new version of Amstrad. I don't like it so much, I have to be honest. You have to, let's back because it's a little confusing. You go to option, just select, ciao Romilla, select a button for the combo key. In that case, is button. Go back and you have to make this new combination, start button plus Y button, and you open the new visual keyboard. If the cursor doesn't move, you have to press select another time. The cursor just start to move because this is the mouse mode. And you also have to drag the keyboard because by default it's half screen. I don't know why. I don't like at all this new implementation, I have to say, but this is the new Amstrad emulator, and simply have to deal with that. To close the keyboard, you have to make the same thing, start plus Y button. This is Alter Beats. Amstrad, ok, move on. Ok, sto mostrando un gioco per ogni sistema se ce la faccio. The Amstrad core is updated, but I'm not satisfied by the new version. This is a entry. I don't like that at all. Also don't like that. No, this is an error by the scrape because are two different games, but they have the same artwork. One is MS Golf and is correct, but the other one is just Golf. So yeah, the scraper is not perfect. Those things happens on daily basis. Okay, move on. Atari 2600, the legendary console, full set, of course, and a lot of hacks and another double. No, it's another game. Okay, it's Double Knight. Action Force is correct, but this is not. G.I. Joe, pensa te. Ma pensa te. I have an Italian friend on chat, so I will speak some Italian. Il solito mix, quando mi incavolo parlo italiano, sono tranquillo, parlo inglese. Ok, full set. Let's try a game. If I find okay, double knights. I'll return. This is not good. This is not good. Where all these doubles come from? I have my faithful keyboard, USB keyboard for those emergencies. That's better to start some game because Aquaventure, one game for each system with the turbo mode. Hey Gavin, Halo 2000, great. This is similar to Shark in some way. Halo 2600, and good suggestion is not properly a hack. This is the game made by the programmer of Halo Saga. He made this game for fun. So I don't know if it's correct to define this as a hack. It's just a very original game. It was never released, but it's a little lame, but I have to check for the pistol because I don't have. If I remember, this is the shield. This is the gun. The PlayStation 1 have the Toy Story game, but not the Bugs Life game you mentioned. No Bugs Life, and there's Toy Story 2. Okay, I have gun too. So we start talking now. Yes, you deserved it. You deserve it. The volume is out of control. Okay, move on. Seems all of you ask for a Bugs Life game. This is interesting. I will take a look eventually. You're not the first to ask about this game, if I remember. On Discord, someone asked for this game too. But okay. Atari 2600 is the same set of Royal, and the same for the Atari 5200. The same set, so no difference there. Atari 7800 is the same. The Atari Lynx is the same. The Atari ST is the same. No difference there. A little Joy set to 260 game for the Atari with the RetroArch. I've changed my mind and I have time to show one game for each system, and then e non ho neanche voglia, tra l'altro, per cui niente. I want to show the difference with the Royal, so let's focus with the difference. The Commodore 64 is the same set of Deluxe, so is bigger compared to Royal. It's a 4003 game, and I'm proud of this set because there's a new artwork by Jimiga for the no screenshot games, and also for compilation games. I'm proud of this set because It's very there's a very selection on this set because there's not multi-disc. All multi-disc games are merged on special cartridge files and easy flash files. So you don't have the multi-disc games on separate files. So there's not made any disc swap. I'm very proud of that. And all the cartridge type games. Okay, this theme. I have not the theme image for that I show on the collection. Is called Commodore 64 CRT collection, and all you see are all games um, converted into cartridge type files. So there's not disk swap and there's not loadings. For example, games like Last Ninja, which was a 2 disc release at the time, if I remember, is a one file and you don't have to skip swap disk, but the more the bigger example is Project Firestart, fantastic game. You know I like this. It was a 4 disc release at the time, so you have to skip disc like a maniac on the original Commodore 64, and this version is just one file. I show is a CRT file, so no disk swap. You can play this masterpiece, and there's no need to swap disk and show. Obviously, I love this game, and you have to play this game if you don't play before. I remember the first disc was only the introduction, which is very long intro. You can skip with 5 buttons. And for example, from the intro, okay, another nice thing you have to remember on the Commodore 64 emulation is each game use different joystick ports, and you can swap the 2 ports with the button joy. If the game is unresponsive, just strike on the virtual keyboard with the Y button and press B on joy button, you see. Otherwise, you can change that also on options, and is there port 2 or port 1, the retropad port. You have to do this manually for every game. I'm sorry, but there's not other solution. I think the programmer of emulator just made a great things adding this button. Okay, and this was Commodore 64. Move on. ColecoVision 38 game. 38 game is the same set of Royal, not changed there. And this is the Capcom CPS collection. Is all the games Capcom CPS 1, 2, and 3. It's just a selection made from the arcade sets. So if you want fast access to Harold Fernandez, Ereto Janki, Bro. If you want to fast access, quick access to these games, there is the way. Daphne is just 5 games, the same Royal, Dragon's Lair 2, Arumila, Space Ace, Super Donkey Quixote, Dreamcast, 8 games, and the best ones I told you immediately are Stormwind, Gunlord, and Fist of the North Star, which is the Q-Tono can. This is Amatomy's Wave, to be precise. And this is the DC Danish from Augusto made this artwork for the games, my personal picks, if you want to follow my twisted taste. Move on. Arcade. And this was not, is still Ryu and Evil Ryu. It was not, it was just coincidental, not done on purpose. And this is Arcade. Arcade is interesting because I decided to make two sets, and I explained why. The Royal image have only one merged arcade set, which on in each game is set to a specific emulator. In that case, it's different. There's two set. One of is managed by Final Burn Neo, and the second one is managed by MAME. Good evening. So in with that type of set, there's no problem to compatibility because all the games you see there are Final Burn Alpha games. But both system are showed as arcade because I don't like so much I don't like so much the emulator to be shown as a system because it's a little absurd because you should have a set named device or Amy Berry. There's not nonsensical to have a system called like an emulator. So I've decided to call these two arcade system both arcade. So I know I will be a little confused because you have some games on these tabs and some other games on this tab. But as a reference, just keep in mind the real artwork just made you a tip. This is the Final Burn Alpha set. So in most cases is Capcom and Street Fighter related games. With the second one, which is way bigger, is 1373 games. Is mostly old games, Sega games, and a lot of arcades too. Another advantage of this combination is I can include more than one version of the same game. For example, Outrun is there's the Final Burn Alpha version and the main version. In that case, you have both version. Outrun. This is the main version, which is have the support for the digital control, which is important for some of you, me included. But if you prefer the analog support, so it's better to stick with the. I lost it. I know. I knew it. With the Outrun for FBA, Final Burn Neo FBN, because it has the support for the analog sticks. So move on. Family disk computer is the same set of Royal. Game & Watch, look at the art, Mario. Good father. Also, new soundtrack on the run. Oh yeah, another. You remember me? The Final Fight, for example, the main version give you the possibility to play with a new soundtrack. You see Final Fight enhanced music and is only for main. But if you want to play the standard Final Fight with the arcade music, just check Final Fight for the Final Burn Alpha set, and you see Final Fight normal. So you have plenty of choices. I like this thing. I like because the games have the same name. Just look, it's the same Final Fight. If you have those two games on the same folder, is a little troublesome. Move on. Game Gear is 263 games, same set of Royal. You know this minor, let's see, system is just the same as Roya, because there's not much to do there. It's just it lacks video snaps. You see, there's not video snap because on the ultimate image have the animated screensaver. If you press select, the animated screensaver starts. So there's not video snap, and the animated screensaver are very stable and not any freeze of image. It's very stable. If you press start with the, for example, you start Donkey Kong, Super Mario 64. Okay, Game Boy Advance, same set, even that one. I'm glad Ralph Fernandez like this idea. I hope to explain it, the reason why I've decided to split the two sets. Okay, Game Boy Advance, 1052 games. Color, 582. Okay, Retro Junkie asked if is all updated. Is the last RetroPie 4.5 version, 4.5 very last version? I think is 12, if I remember. It's the very last version of RetroPie and this very last version of RetroArch. So it's very super updated. I've just keep the old version of Emulation Station because it runs better to me. It's the 2.7, and the scrape is not working on this version, but you should not use it. So I don't remember. It's the very last version, so is yes. It may be for 15. 4515. I remember Trojanki. I've just updated on these days, so it will be for sure. Cody is Cody. There's nothing to say. Is the multimedia player. If you want to check for YouTube or want to see your videos on USB, for example. A bit of multimedia on image arcade. I already showed that. The Sega Master System 271. The Mega Drive, big set, is 1155 games. I forgot to check the high score, and you're right. Sorry, I forgot every time. I will check later. So Mega Drive, super set. I love that. There's some difference compared to Royal, because the Royal have the hex are separated on hex, and Japanese games are all separated on the Royal. In that case, is the merged set, as you can see, is more than 1,000 of games. So the Japanese game, the hex, and the Western set is all there. I've decided to do this way because I don't want to go heavy on Emulation Station, because the more the tabs, the art tabs, the slower the system are. And so I've decided to merge the Mega Drive, the Nintendo, and the Super Nintendo system on the same artwork, but the hex artwork is still there. If you want to create a collection for Mega Drive hex, for example, just go, or there's not available on this team, is in another team, is not on the Ultimate Epic, but you can go on game collection setting, create a new custom collection from team. In that case, there's only Genesis, but show another, for example, the King team has the artwork. Otherwise, it will be included on the merged collection and tabs. I know it's a little confusing to understand this type of system, but it's back to if I want to create the collection X collection. I repeat, create new custom collection from theme. Just go for gen h each, which is the Genesis hex. Select the hex you want. Restart the emulation station, and you will see the tab of Mega Dry Hack with the games. But you have to select manually the hex, which is, I repeat, has merged into the main set. I know Aromila will not be so right with this of decision because I know he prefer to have the hex on subfolder which are located on top of list. Actually, I not like the subfolder way. I'm sorry, but very don't like to have games on subfolders. So I've decided to move this way instead of subfolder way. Move on. Let's get back the ultimate epic. No, it's just a matter of taste. I know some people who prefer the subfolder way. I not like the subfolder way because you have to go every time to the top of the list, and it's a little. But move on. MSX is a little expanded set. It's a 678 games. There's some new hacks basically compared to Royal. Nintendo 64 is a very little set because you know the Nintendo 64 and is not works very well on PI. I don't want to waste space and resources on this system because most of game doesn't work. It's very futile, so don't even ask for Nintendo 64 games. Just let's see if PI 4 can manage that, but not the PI 3. I just included the game that works. Let's see, right. Doesn't expect this game to work perfect because by any means they work perfect. Let's just say that it can be playable, but doesn't expect miracles because there's not. Neo Geo, the full Neo Geo set. There's a little interesting information on Neo Geo because I've decided to set the Neo Geo not as arcade but as system because I very prefer the Neo Geo as a cartridge system, which is we all know is the same thing basically because the Neo Geo was born as a very user-friendly, practical arcade type of system, which can be also used on home using. But even on arcade, the Neo Geo was working through the cartridge. So it's a very the home system of Neo Geo is just the same machine with the different chassis. But I found a little limiting to have the Neo Geo set as arcade on RetroPie because you stick with the coin system, which is very. If you set the final burn to play the Neo Geo game as system, you have plenty of options, which I will show right now. Little patience. For example, King of Fights. Just let's try one random King of Fights. It's not important what game. 2000. Okay. The game start. You have I of course I've set the artwork for Neo Geo normal, not arcade. The loading is longer on usually, I don't know why. Okay, so this is King of Fire 2000, but you see is different. You have more option available. You can do practice, single play, single team OS option. You can change option. You can do anything of that on the arcade mode. So you have new options. But you always revert to the other system. You just call it the AES is the home system, the MVS is the arcade system. If you change that to MVS and go back, you will change it to, will revert to arcade, but I don't want to set this way for now. The catch is the games are in Japanese. Tocca. It's still a Japanese system. It's a very an issue with some where most of games are brawlers. I don't think so. Sì. Ok, move on. Mamma mia quanto ho parlato stasera. New GeoCD, the new GeoCD will talk just today about this controversial system because I'm still not entirely sure to include the new GeoCD. I have to say I have around 30 games. Include all these games are all games with enhanced music or new music. I cut out of the game, which is exactly the same compared to the Neo Geo cartridge because it just wasted space. But for example, like Double Dragon, there's a whole new soundtrack. So we talked with Arumila, Gigobi, and the team today, but it seems all like to have some Neo Geo CD game, maybe not all the set, but the sounds are also very crisp because they're all CD quality. Anyway, expect a little lesser set compared to the Royal Image, basically. And Nintendo Titanium system, same thing as Mega Drive. The set is all merged, so Hex, Japanese Famicom, and Western Nintendo is all the same folder. There's not subfolder even this time in this case. You may say to have the F disk, Nintendo F disk separated is a little absurd. I can agree with you to have all merged there and have to the Nintendo F disk separated seems a little. But I consider the family disk a little different system compared to the NES because it's still a disk sorry floppy based system, so it's a little different. Okay, the console is mostly the same, but it's a little different when the Hex and the Japanese Famicom is still just Nintendo, and yes, it's just country, different country. Oh my god, the set manually all this artwork, you will never know the pain in the A, which was set all artwork, all artwork. You see, it's set the Japanese Famicom. Okay, move on. Let me know your impression about this change because the Royal doesn't have I repeat, the Royal have the Japanese Famicom, the Japanese Mega Drive, and then the Japanese SNES separated, and also have the X all separated. But I take a chance to remove. I have to be honest. I've removed some very stupid or duplicated hex, which was Royal, because I just throw all the hex I found on the same folder. In that case, I have time to check a little closer every hex. I know that the hex check is a little. Who cares anyway? The hex are just a bonus. You have to consider hex like a bonus. We can assure a quality check on hex is a little absurd, but I do it anyway. So the hex is a little more featured. I take a chance to closely now that I've merged those three systems together. Neo Geo Pocket Color, open ball with the fantastic artwork. Look at this character. Another controversial system, but I know some of you very like the open ball, so it's there for now. For the most part, the Ultimate is similar to the Royal, but some systems are different. So just is almost a new old image to me. I not consider anymore like an upgrade of the Royal images. It's too much different right now. The Mega Turbo mode, the set are all refined. There's a lot of new games, and there's some games removed compared to the Royal. So not necessarily more games, and not all games are included. I repeat, for example, I removed some ports of King of Fighters or Fatal Fury because the best version are on Neo Geo, not the case to include and with space. I very struggling on space on this image because you will see why. The PC Engine CD, another great set, but it's the same as Royal. I don't touch the PC Engine CD, but I mean, just remove the Fatal Fury special for the reason I've explained. Right now, Pulse is the same, just old Dooms games, a little bonus. PSP, the PSP set is very purged compared to the Royal because I just realized most of game doesn't work well on the PI. It's a very disaster. This system doesn't work well. Just deal with it, and we have to hope to PI4 on this system. I just keep it 24 games. It's the same thing as the Nintendo 64. Those are the games that runs, let's see, right, okay. I don't say perfect. I say, okay, all right. And this is the bigger reason I have to struggle with the space on this image. I had to do some compromises because the Ultimate have a massive, gigantic, crazy, big ass PSX set. It's very incredible. 703 games. So it's way. I talked too much tonight. I'm sorry. Ajimiga! Glad to have you here. Fantastic, Jimiga. He inspired all of us on the theme. And also, this team, you have to credit Jimiga because he made a base and he made a layout for the artworks, this smooth type layout. for this team, which we call it the Gestalt 2020, but now it's the Gestalt Ultimate. So you have to props to Jimiga because he started this great team, and we continue to work on this to make better and better and better. And Augustus had to this good, great idea to add this new artworks, very serious art. Okay. Yes, Jimiga, you started a wave of joy and creative, and it's great to see guys who want to make things on your base. Fantastic. It's just like the edit word should work to me. Okay, ScanVM is a little improved because this for this you have to very thanks Gigaby because he's the ScanVM man right now. We have to thank him for some gems which are included on the ScanVM set on Ultimate, like for example, Loom for FM Towns with the voice included on the Maniac Mansion talkie version. I'm sorry, Monkey Island. I showed this already fantastic version with the voices. So the ScanVM is very improved compared to Royal. Is for 43 games. Siga, this is Augustus made some confusion on that because he think it was a collection of our Sega games, but not exactly. This is just a collection of Sega arcade games. It's very little, 22, and is not even a real collection. It's just a game list with an artwork because this game are all taken from the main folder. Okay, so you can just disable this collection if you're not interested. But I skipped the I skipped the bigger feature of the ultimate image, guys. 703 games. So you had to kidding me. This is way more compared to ultimate, and this is the Aromila moment because they super helped me to build this monster. Yes, yes. Non fare il modesto, dai, prenditi i meriti, oh, quando te li meriti, i meriti è giusto prenderli. We talk also about PSX 700 games, not all piece, of course, because we go on some completion, many other. I very like the 700 achievement, of course. So I just want to keep this game. Maybe not all the games deserve to be there. I'll be honest, but I have to say. Yes, it's a fantastic collection. I love this collection. I think most of this game deserve, to be honest, because this is not just the 700 games thrown random to show. Hey guys, I have 700 PSX game. I'm cool. No, no, no. We just choose every of this game, thanks to Aromila, thanks to Gigaby, thanks to Cash 80s, there's at least 5 people which worked on this set for months. Okay, and those guys converted all this game on CHD. You can see there. No, this is M3R. M3 all games are CHD, so all are compressed to gain space, but just runs like a CD genuine ISO is like the old type file PBP, the PSP type file. The CHD is just the future, is a file type used by most of system like the Sega CD. And right now, because the emulator is updated and is supported, all of this fucking game is converted on CSD. Non mi fate incavolare, non mi piglio un infarto. Thanks to these great guys of the DZ team, they made a masterpiece because there's not any image on scene which have 700 CHD games. Damn. Okay. And there's also the multi-disc games. Don't forget that. For example, Fear Effect is a 4-disc release. Now, on the PBP, it was a single file, but it's very big on sides. Consider that the CHD take way less space compared. It may vary game by game, but it take less space compared to PBP. We made this idea to create an M3U file, which work is the same as the PBP files. You just see only one file into emulation station because the CHD file type name is hidden into emulation station. I know you don't understand anything of this, but it's not important because the game basically just work the same as PBP. For example, if you start Final Fantasy VII, which is 4-disc release, okay, you start the game, and this work exactly the same as the PBP. So you can just go to this control Agent disk, and you can set the disk you want into RetroArch. So when the game prompts you to change disk, just change the disk into the RetroArch, close the tray, and just continue. It's the same as the PBP. It's nothing changed at the user side. It's just the games just takes way less space, so we managed to include all these games into a 400 gigabyte image. Insane, guys. 700 games. It's a lot of gems. Okay, not all masterpiece, but look these gems. A huge lot of Japanese games, ultra rare games you never heard of. Okuto no Ken. Oshigami, this is one of the very last game we added with Arumila. Oshigami Reading Blue Art, which should be, I don't know this game. It should be a tactic games on the manner of Final Fantasy Tactics. It's insane. It's just insane. This is new Killer Loop. We made a deep check into the huge PlayStation set, which is more than 2,000 of games, so it's not even the full set. It's insane. There's also a lot of custom artwork because the scraper, most of, for example, this is a custom artwork. I made that one because it not exists. Crazy, so crazy. Basically, we worked our asses into that, but look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. It's worth the struggle, worth the effort. Fantastic. Yes, I'm very proud of X-Files. A lot of multi-disc games. Yeah, look at the Time Bokan. Yes, it's a joy. It's a joy just to explore Echo Toy Story. Someone asked for those stories include. There's some Disney game, like for example, there's Hercules. Hercules. There's Aladdin. There's some Disney game, not all games, because Disney games are tons of Disney games for the PSX. I think there's a lot of games. Crazy gems, like for example, Police Nauts is all translated in English. This was a Japanese only game released only on Japan, and this all in English. Oh, but you cannot imagine the work of that other crazy man called Cash 80s, for example. Look, this beauty, Super Robo Wars, translated in English, even that one. Look, assume that I can find it before. Super Robot Test Alpha Gaiden is in English, guys, translated. This is a super gem of Cash 80s. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even remember all these games. Guys, 700 games. Let's talk about it. Front Mission. Okay, Front Mission 3 is legit games released on Western market, but Front Mission 2 was only Japanese game. So it's translated in English. Starship Blade. Okay. This is Last Gem by Romila, Starship Blade. I should be added. Starblade Alpha. I don't even know about this game. It's just a PlayStation port of the Starblade Namco. Great. Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, which is a special version. It's crazy, guys. Tekken 3 Golden Leon, another crazy gem by Cast 80s. This is a special version of Tekken 3 with all the characters unlocked by default. Don't ask it where he take these gems. It's crazy. But not only the Colin McRae. He also found this version of Colin McRae called. Look, it's crazy. Colin McRae 2.1 is a new version of Colin McRae with the analog controller reworked, and the cockpit there's some edits on the cockpit. It's crazy. And let's talk about the Resident Evil uncut version, which is an echo which merged the Resident Evil Western with the Biohazard, the Japanese version Resident Evil with the violent movies, and some oddities like a new mode with new monsters. It's crazy. Almost a new game, and that's of course the original game. And the Battle Amidst mode, which is a crazy mode with the ROMs are all random, crazy. So you see, you can see most of these games are gems. Crazy. Okay, move on. The Genesis 32X is the same. Sega CD is the little lesser than the FMV game, which was a little trash to speak about between us, and but most of games still there. 100 more than 100 games. Sega SG 1000. The Super Nintendo, the same thing, is the old merged right now. 1153. And the Super Famicom, the SNES and the SNES X, all the just share the same folder. Same thing you can create if you want your theme collection, if you still want the hacks on their own. Super Nintendo CD, another set which have a little refined, there's lesser game because I remember it was 30 games, and they are 80s right now because I removed some games, redundant games, but all the best SNES CD games are there, like Dracula X, Chrono Trigger. I already showed that F-Zero, Gradius, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 2 is the same version with arcade sound. R-Type 3, Rock and Roll Racing with Rock. This is funny. I can show that because I have plenty of licensed music, but as some rock music, it's very funny to play with rock music from the 80s. Sunset Rider with arcade sound, Super Castlevania with total reworked soundtrack, Super Mario World, a great new soundtrack, Super Metroid with orchestra music, Super Type, Super Turrican, which is the best release for me. So the best SNES release with the music, new music by Chris Hulsbeck. So the best is there. It's a little less, but the best release is still there. Supergraph, the Sharp is the same, and the X Spectrum with the artwork of Apple by Turtles is the same collection. This is thanks to Zarteus. He made all this collection, create all this collection into Royal. They are almost compatible with the Ultimate because some games is removed, but I will adapt this collection. You see, you have most recognized franchise are there, but there's not anymore the theme dedicated to collection. All collection are included into this tab because for the same reason, because I need the emulation station to go fast. The more you artwork you add on the theme, the more start to lag. So I just calculated that you have to keep between 50 and 16 artworks, not more. Otherwise, the system start to lag and the games took even 10 seconds to start. It's a disaster. Okay, we made it. Okay, this is the basically the difference compared with the Royal image, the Ultimate image, as you can see, is similar for some ways, but it's very different for others. So I not consider anymore an update. It's just a new project, a new image to me. But both are still great image, and I want to harsh on Royal, which is a great image. For example, if you prefer the video snap on video snaps on image, I just still recommend the Royal image because it have the video snaps. I've already explained it why I've decided to remove the video snaps on Discord, so you already know my point. So thank guys to watching this live stream and thanks to join the live chat. Ho parlato troppo stasera. Grazie a tutti e grazie per l'aiuto e grazie per l'amore. Vi saluto in italiano. Ciao a tutti.